Have you ever walked out of a discount store holding a receipt that felt like a badge of honor, only to realize 2 weeks later that you basically paid full price for a half-empty box of disappointment? We've all been there. You pop into a local shop for a single roll of tape or a quick snack, and you walk out 50 bucks lighter with a trolley full of absolute garbage that breaks before you even reach the car. What if I told you that some of Australia's most aggressive discount retailers aren't actually saving you a single cent? In fact, while you think you're outsmarting the cost of living crisis, a couple of these mega chains have been quietly dragged through Australian courts, hit with massive regulatory enforcement actions, and caught selling everyday household items that cost significantly more per unit than if you just bought them at a standard supermarket. One massive retailer kept selling bargain food and personal care stock while hiding an absolute nightmare of supply chain conditions. Another iconic chain dragged its heels on safety compliance, paying millions after regulators repeatedly caught them blocking emergency exits and stacking heavy pallets that could crush a customer. And one famous discount empire that was bought up for billions ended up being dumped a decade later for a fraction of its original price after customers finally realized the bargains were a complete illusion. By the time you finish watching this video, you're going to look at your local shopping center with completely fresh eyes. You will find out which 6 major Australian discount chains are actively bleeding your bank account dry, and which 6 best budget retailers are genuinely worth every single dollar. I'll show you the hidden price per unit traps lurking on discount shelves. We'll crack open the exact retail tricks used to make cheap imports look like premium markdowns, and I'll give you the ultimate bulletproof framework to ensure you never get ripped off again. Pay close attention, because the single most shocking store on our worst list isn't just a quiet ripoff. It's a chain that ended up in the crosshairs of federal regulators for an outrageous breach of consumer trust that most shoppers completely missed. Before we name a single shop or tear into individual brands, we need to talk about how the modern off-price retail machine actually works under the bonnet. Discount shopping used to be a simple, honest ecosystem. A major manufacturer would overproduce a line of tinned tomatoes, change a shampoo bottle label, or liquidate last season's winter jackets. Retailers known as closeout buyers would swoop in, buy the surplus stock for pennies on the dollar, and pass those genuine savings on to you. It was overstock, discontinued goods, and familiar brand names for dirt cheap. But over the last decade, as the retail landscape transformed and profit margins got squeezed, the industry quieted down about a massive shift in how they source their shelves. Today, those massive stacks of cheap goods clogging the center aisles are rarely surplus from your favorite Australian brands. Instead, giant discount chains rely on 2 main strategies: grey market off-price manufacturing and extreme packaging reduction, better known as shrinkflation on steroids. In the off-price clothing and homewares sector, manufacturers now design cheaper, lower-quality tiers of products specifically built for the discount floor. That brand-name sweater hanging on a bargain rack, it often never spent a single second in a high-end department store. It was stitched together using thinner thread, cheaper synthetic blends, and looser quality controls specifically to hit a budget target price. The brand name on the label is real, but the physical product is an entirely different beast, engineered from scratch to look like a markdown. When it comes to everyday groceries, cleaning chemicals, and toiletries, the trick gets even craftier. Discount chains know your brain is hardwired to anchor value to the visual sticker price. You see a famous laundry detergent or a recognizable box of breakfast cereal sitting on a shelf for $3, and your brain instantly registers a massive win compared to the $12 jug at Woolworths or Coles. What the store isn't telling you, and what most shoppers never pause to calculate, is the tiny net weight printed in faint text at the bottom. By shrinking the package to a fraction of the standard retail size, the retailer creates the visual illusion of a bargain while quietly charging you a unit price that is 30, 40, or even 50% higher per gram or per milliliter. Think of it like buying petrol. If one station sells you 10 litres of fuel for $20, and the station down the road sells you 2 litres for $10, the second station isn't giving you a discount just because you handed over a smaller banknote. They're gouging you at the pump while taking advantage of your rush. When you add in the fact that many off-price chains cut overhead costs by running skeleton crews, ignoring aisle maintenance, and stretching product shelf lives right to the legal edge, the true cost of that quick bargain starts looking remarkably expensive. Once you understand these underlying mechanics, the illusion evaporates, and you can clearly see which retailers are actually working for your wallet and which ones are using clever retail psychology to take you for a ride. Let's jump straight into the 6 worst offenders operating across Australia right now. We are counting down from the least terrible to the absolute worst value trap in the country. Worst number 6 on our list is Silly Solly's. Walk through the doors of a Silly Solly's store anywhere in Queensland or New South Wales and you are greeted by massive, screaming yellow signs promising that nothing in the entire building costs more than $5. It sounds like a budget shopper's dream come true, and in fairness, if you're picking up basic plastic storage tubs, cheap birthday cards, or disposable party plates, you will absolutely walk out with a win. But here's where the trap springs shut. To maintain that strict $5 price ceiling in an era of rampant inflation, the chain relies heavily on obscure parallel imports and ultra-shrunken pack sizes. A quick choice unit price analysis reveals that many of their imported personal care items and pantry staples actually work out significantly more expensive per 100 grams or 100 milliliters than buying full-sized Woolworths or Coles home brand alternatives. You think you're walking away with a bargain because you only handed over a single blue note, but in reality, you just paid a premium rate for a tiny, off-brand container of watered-down product. Furthermore, their strict return policies make getting a refund on a faulty $3 gadget feel like applying for a home loan. It's an entertaining spot for a quick scavenger hunt, but if you're relying on it to stretch your weekly household budget, Silly Solly's is quietly draining your wallet. Worst number 5 is Reject Shop. Once upon a time, the Reject Shop was the undisputed king of Australian clearance retail, a reliable place where major local brands dump genuine excess stock at giveaway prices. Today, it operates over 350 stores nationwide, but its business model has shifted dramatically. Rather than relying purely on genuine local overstock, huge swathes of their aisles are now filled with grey market imports sourced from overseas manufacturing hubs. Take a close look at the laundry detergent or dishwashing tablets on their bottom shelves. The labels often feature foreign languages with tiny English sticker overlays slapped on the back. Independent lab investigations and customer reviews repeatedly highlight that these grey market variants often feature lower concentrations of active cleaning enzymes compared to the official Australian formulations sitting on supermarket shelves. You might save $2 on a bottle of liquid cleaner, but you end up having to use double the amount just to get your dishes clean. When you factor in frequent customer complaints about cluttered, understaffed aisles and restrictive 28-day return policies that require flawless receipts and original packaging, the perceived savings evaporate. If you're itching to check your own pantry right now, hit subscribe because the numbers only get rougher from here. Worst number 4 is Cheapers Chips. Dominating regional Victoria, South Australia and New South Wales, Cheapers Chips has built a massive loyal following by offering everything from garden furniture to discount cosmetics under one roof. But when you look beneath the cheerful country branding, a very different picture emerges. The chain relies heavily on unbranded, ultra-low-cost direct imports in the home electronics, kitchen appliance and seasonal heating categories. Australian consumer law guarantees that products must be of acceptable quality and fit for purpose, yet public review platforms like Product Review are littered with furious feedback regarding cheap kettles, space heaters and LED lights failing mere weeks after purchase. When a cheap electrical appliance burns out after 3 uses, the time, petrol and hassle required to drive back to the store for a refund instantly wipes out whatever $5 discount you thought you secured. They lure you in with cheap garden pots and craft supplies, but the moment you step into their middle aisles to buy anything that plugs into a wall or bears a load, you are gambling your money on single-use junk. Worst number 3 is Nifty 50s and independent variety store chains. Scattered across suburban shopping strips and regional malls, these independent $2-style shops live on impulse buys and unverified price tags. Their favourite psychological trick is the crossed-out comparison price. You'll see a kitchen knife or a pair of reading glasses marked down from $25 to just $6, creating an irresistible sense of urgency. The catch? That $25 reference price is almost completely fictional. It is an arbitrary figure designed to make a low-quality item look like a luxury markdown. Furthermore, these stores are notorious for stocking grey import toiletries and pantry goods approaching or past their best-before dates. A 2023 review of independent discount retailers by consumer advocates found numerous instances of skin creams, hair dyes, and packaged snacks imported from overseas without proper regulatory compliance labeling or clear ingredient declarations in English. You aren't just taking a risk on product quality, you are buying items with zero manufacturer accountability when something goes wrong. Worst number 2 is Choice Discounts. Operating across Victoria, this chain promises huge savings on everyday household essentials. but its store layout and inventory management tell a story of extreme operational cost-cutting. Much like overseas budget chains that have faced severe regulatory crackdowns, Choice Discount stores frequently suffer from severely overcrowded aisles, towering stacks of unmerchandised cardboard boxes, and heavily restricted floor space. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, ACCC, and state WorkSafe authorities have strict guidelines regarding workplace safety and clear emergency egress. Yet walking down the aisles of these high-density discount stores during peak trading hours often feels like navigating an obstacle course. When a retail chain cuts staffing levels to the absolute bone to preserve thin profit margins, basic store maintenance and safety slide rapidly. Products are routinely placed in the wrong price bays, leading to awkward disputes at the checkout when items scan higher than the shelf tag indicated. You end up wasting time arguing over a 50-cent price discrepancy for an item that wasn't even cheap to begin with. Worst number one on our list, the absolute worst discount shopping trap in Australia, is the rise of unvetted direct import bargain warehouse pop-ups. These are the temporary clearance warehouses that take over short-term leases in suburban shopping centres, screaming about liquidation sales, bankrupt stock, and 90% discounts on brand-name goods, food, and electronics. This is where discount retail crosses the line from poor value into absolute consumer chaos. Because these operators move from lease to lease, they operate virtually immune to standard Australian consumer law enforcement. Lab tests and consumer warnings regarding these pop-up clearance hubs have uncovered counterfeit cosmetics containing dangerous heavy metals, uncertified electrical charges that pose severe fire hazards, and packaged food items stored in unconditioned, pest-vulnerable environments before hitting the discount bins. When a product fails, causes an allergic reaction, or catches fire, the pop-up store has already packed up its banners and vanished into thin air, leaving you with zero legal recourse and an empty wallet. They take advantage of cost of living anxiety, dump hazardous or expired stock on unsuspecting shoppers, and disappear before the regulators even get a tip-off. It is the absolute bottom of the Australian retail barrel. Right, here comes the part that made watching this far worth it. Up until now, we have exposed the clearance traps and trick pricing that cost you money. But not every budget store in Australia is trying to pull a fast one. A few retail chains operate transparent business models where the savings are real, the quality holds up, and the prices stand up to actual mathematical scrutiny. Best number 6 on our list is Big W. Owned by the Woolworths Group, Big W operates hundreds of stores across the country, serving as a reliable benchmark for everyday household items, kids' clothing, and basic appliances. What makes Big W a solid choice isn't aggressive closeout gimmicks. It's genuine, predictable pricing across their private labels, like Anko competing everyday lines and Circuit Home Tech. While their brand name electronics generally match standard retail rates, their house brand apparel and kitchenware consistently beat specialty stores on price while passing Australian safety standards. Furthermore, their standard 90-day return policy and integration with the Everyday Rewards program mean that if a toaster dies or a shirt shrinks, you get your money back without a courtroom battle. It's an unpretentious, reliable workhorse for family basics. Best number 5 is Chemist Warehouse. Love it or hate it, the yellow and red discount pharmacy giant dominates the Australian health and beauty market for a reason. While their crowded, narrow aisles can feel chaotic, their aggressive price-matching policy and massive buying power deliver undisputed savings on big brand personal care, vitamins, and fragrances. Independent price comparisons routinely show that off-shelf prices for daily essentials like sunscreen, toothpaste, and name brand independent choice testing regularly awards high-performance marks to low-cost Anko appliances, including their famous budget espresso machines and pie makers that rival models costing 4 times as much. Kmart doesn't pretend to sell luxury heirloom goods, but for functional household items, home organization, and everyday kids wear, their value for money ratio remains unmatched on the high street. Best number 1, the absolute king of value shopping in Australia is Aldi. Winning Roy Morgan's Supermarket of the Year and Canstar Blues Customer Satisfaction Awards year after year, Aldi operates a streamlined, highly efficient private label model that cuts out middleman marketing costs. Roughly 90% of everything on Aldi's shelves is their own exclusive brand, and time after time, independent blind taste tests and lab analyses confirm that Aldi's pantry staples, cleaning products, and fresh meats match or exceed the quality of national brands, while costing roughly 25% to 30% less overall. Add in their twice-weekly special buys aisle, which offers everything from heavy-duty workshop tools to ski gear backed by a generous 60-day money-back guarantee, and Aldi stands as the gold standard for honest, ungimmicked budget shopping in Australia. Now, before you grab your keys and head down to your local shopping center, here are 6 golden rules that will protect your bank balance every single time you shop. Rule number 1, ignore the big red sticker on the front of the box and look straight at the tiny unit price printed on the shelf tag. Whether you're at Woolworths, Coles, or a local discount warehouse, comparing the price per 100 grams or per 100 milliliters is the only way to expose shrunken pack sizes. Rule number 2, whenever you see a name brand jacket, pair of shoes, or appliance at an off-price retailer like TK Maxx, whip out your phone and search the exact style number. That 30-second audit instantly reveals if you are holding a genuine department store markdown or an item made specifically for the discount channel. Rule number 3, if a store doesn't clearly display unit pricing or hides ingredient labels behind foreign language stickers, put the item back immediately. Rule number 4, never buy electrical goods, heating devices, or anything involving a flame from unvetted variety stores. The $5 you save isn't worth a house fire. Rule number 5, inspect seals, expiry dates, and batch codes on every personal care product or food item sold at extreme closeout rates. Rule number 6, test store brands one at a time. Kmart's Anko or Aldi's private labels often equal national brands, but you should verify quality before buying in bulk. When you step back and look at the Australian retail landscape, the big lesson is clear. The discount industry is built on a single psychological trick, making you believe that a lower register total automatically equals a great bargain. But real value isn't about finding a cheap shelf price. It's about paying a fair rate for quality that actually lasts. Once you swap impulse hunting for unit price math and style number verification, you stop being a victim of clever retail marketing and take complete control of your household budget. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. If this investigation saved you a few hard-earned dollars, please share it with a friend or family member. You definitely know someone who is getting ripped off at their local discount store right now. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these 12 stores is in your suburb and which one lost your trust for good? Next up, we're exposing the products that are almost never worth buying at discount shops, including batteries, cheap cables, and a few household staples that will genuinely shock you. Thanks for watching, take care out there, and I'll see you in the next investigation.